Hi, this is Scott Dowdle. I'd like to show you the Atari Jaguar car for the MiSTer FPGA that just went into production this week. I'm recording this on May 31st, which is Saturday, and I think it like Monday or Tuesday maybe. They do have a single RAM build, which works fairly good, fairly well, but the dual RAM is considered to be pretty close to cycle accurate, if not cycle accurate. So that is the preferred one. If you enable dual cores, it will download and install. You can see that build is dated May 17th. The single RAM build is dated 5/26. So let's go load the dual RAM and I'll show you some stuff. All right. The main developers of this are GreyRogue and Kitrinx. And they put a lot of work into this. That is the stock Jaguar BIOS. I'm going to show you that you can change the BIOS out. Kitrinx made two alternative stock BIOSes. She made two alternative CD BIOSes and one alternative MemTrack BIOS. So I'm going to go into the assign BIOS files, then assign Jaguar BIOS, and then I'm going to pick the, I gave it a more friendly name. I think hers was named maybe that. I think maybe I picked the CD. Let me do that again. I'm going to go with the friendly name that I gave it. Yeah, I picked that. I should have picked that one. Anyway, if I wanted the properly named. But I like being able to tell what it does. This gives you no spinny cube and no Atari letters falling down and no jingle. You just get a Jaguar. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and save that, so it'll be there in the future. Now let's load a cartridge. I'm going to go ahead and load Tempest 2000, and I've got a save game that's 30 something levels, so you can see how it plays with quite a bit of activity. Not one of the lower levels. And of course, jumping into such a deep level, I'm not going to be very good at it, but you'll get the idea. So as soon as I die, I'll switch to something else. Lower the volume a little, just in case. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to lower the level. Let me do this one more time. These high levels, you really hope to make sure you get jump. And I missed that power up. And once you're fried, you're fried. Once they get to the end of the web, you're dead. We'll go ahead and load Alien vs. Predator, because I want to show you the cheats that we have here in the Jaguar core. While the game is loading, I'm going to bring up the on-screen display. I hear the heartbeat going already. Go down to cheats, and I'm going to say infinite health and infinite shotgun. Of course, I'm going to select the character of the Marine. There's no cheats for the other characters currently. We don't have a whole lot of cheats, only for a handful of games so far, but I'm sure more will accrue over time, and there'll be more. I think most of these came from the community. Now, the regular hotkey cheats that you can find online, that you can hit certain combination of keys on your controller, those will still work and everything. So you didn't lose those. I don't have what those are. Those can probably be done by hotkeys, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I'm using a Jaguar controller with MiSTer add-ons Reflex Adapt, And so I've got my keypad totally functional, which is really nice. If you're using a standard like dual stick type of controller, you're going to want to make sure you map the keys. And now I just need to find an alien. One shot, two shots. You see my shots aren't going down, nor am I getting hurt. Boom. And so cheats are working. Alright, now let's move on to Jaguar CD stuff. It does have full Jaguar CD support and plays all the Jaguar CD games. Let's pick Iron Soldier 2. Now there is a cartridge version of Iron Soldier 2. Iron Soldier 2, the CD version, which this is here. It has more full motion video, more music, and probably more clips and stuff. I'll just let the animation play here at the beginning. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but just a little bit of it, and then I'll hit a button to abort it and get to the main menu. I'm guessing we don't have any cheats for this. Ah, it does say cheats. I don't know what those are. I'm not going to mess with them at this moment. I already showed you the cheats. You get the idea. Alright, start game. I'm just kind of zip through this just to get into the gameplay so you can see how it plays real briefly. Can I kill a tree? Yeah. All right, you get the idea. Now, anytime you do save games, we'll say within the game itself, you need to bring up the on-screen display for it to write it out to the memory card. That's the way most MiSTer cores work. So let's see. But all the CD games work. Let's say Battlemorph. Now let's say you've played Cybermorph, but you're not familiar with Battlemorph. This isn't really specific to the Jaguar core, but a couple of weeks ago, the MiSTer team added an online documentation, so you can bring up the on-screen display, and I've got Jaguar manuals selected, so it's downloaded all the Jaguar manuals. You can just go to the help and go into CD manuals for the CD games, and I've got the manual for Battlemorph, and I can bring it up. And most of them have the overlay, so you can see what that looks like at the very first page. And then you can use up and down arrow to go through the manual. And this is pretty quick and stable. The first version of this they had, the PDF reader, was didn't perform very well. They just recently replaced that this week, and now this works great. And you can go through that and just B to get out of it. So it was playing a cutscene while we were waiting.
Test runs on the War Griffon infiltration fighter.
Okay, I'm going to get into that. I've got a save game where I started it. Again, I'm just kind of zipping through this. I'm going to skip the briefing on what the mission is.
War Griffon ready for launch. Stand by. 3, 2.
But we also have manuals for all the cartridge games, and the CD manual for the Jag CD, so you can learn about how the VLM controls work and all the effects and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you the VLM here in a minute. Alright. A hint came up and I hit the button. Anyway, you get the idea. Alright, well, it works great. What else? Let's show you the VLM. So I can just load, I'm a big Prince fan, so I have, I need to pick the right thing from the top level, Stream CD. I've got those organized a little different. I've got quite a few different CD rips that I've made. These have to be in a special format just for the Jaguar core, which is CDI format. We have some software that allow you to do that. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that, but I'm a big Prince fan, so I have all the Prince albums. Let's just go to one I can play here on YouTube where it won't give me a copyright strike. So, oops, that's the game. Oops, my bad. I thought I was on the double dot. Let's just bring this up again. Okay, let's go to Tempest 2000. How about that? Okay. It'll bring up, say it realizes this is an audio CD. It's got 12 tracks, 63 minutes, 46 seconds. You can see all the controls are mentioned there, so I can hit B to start playing. I can hit the A arrow to raise and lower the volume. You can see it was already set to the top. That's because the Jaguar core has implemented the CD-ROM EEPROM, which saves some of the settings. So you change the volume, it'll remember where you had the volume set the next time. And also it'll remember what the last effect that you had selected and start with that effect. So you can hit right arrow to advance to the songs, or left arrow to go back, or you can hit a number on the keypad. I'm going to hit 9. That's going to jump to track 9. And then you can hit A to get rid of the menu. Now if you hit Option, you can now enter specific effects, banks, and effects. I'm going to say 3-4, 3-5. How about 4-3? And if you want that menu to go off, how about 4-4? You can hit the A button and that'll make that go away. And to bring back up on screen controls, you just hit A again. I had a tutorial on this. Again, check out the manual that's available as a PDF. The Jag CD available on archive.org if you don't have all the documentation downloaded for the Jaguar. So the VLM works really great. Now let's talk about CD+G support. This is something that GreyRogue put a lot of effort into implementing, and it works pretty well. Maybe you don't know what CD+Gs are, but they're audio CDs that have graphics information added to them. And in the mid-90s, there are about 51 different titles that were created. Some of these are by commercial artists, like Fleetwood Mac had an album, Jimi Hendrix had an album, Lou Reed. I don't have all 31 that I've converted on here, but let me do some classical music, so hopefully I don't get a copyright strike. And what you have to do is go down, hit Option, and say, hit B on that. That's randomize the effect for VLM, but we're doing CD+G, so I hit it again. If you keep hitting B, it'll cycle through those. So with CD+G selected, I hit Option to go back up. I'll hit B to play, and I'll hit A to get rid of that. And again, this one has 3 titles, so I can hit the right arrow to go to the next track. And it takes it a few seconds to get going. And different titles put more effort into the graphics. Let me turn this up a little bit. This is a soundtrack from a movie, and they've got some still images that were taken from the movie. You can see the color palette isn't quite as extensive as the original photography, but it's not bad. Let me go to the last track. You can see they have different ways they put on the graphics. Some of them just kind of appear the whole image at once, or pan up from the bottom or the side, or draw them in different geometric patterns to just make them a little more interesting. So again, some of the titles have put more effort into making the graphics fancy, and some haven't. Let me bring up one more as an example. Let's see if I can figure something else. Let me jump into a deep track on this, so hopefully, again, Option down, B, B. next track. How many tracks did this have? 7. Let's go to track 6. This one has some really good graphics. I'm going to turn the music down because I believe this music is copyrighted in Russia and Belarus, and I don't want that to pick it up, so I'm not playing much. But I'm letting it play a little bit longer because it's got some fancier graphics. It just takes it a little bit to start up because each section is a different planet. And on this one, they put a little more effort into the graphics. I think we can fast forward, although it's kind of probably play a little havoc with the graphics as they have to redraw or something. Anyway, you get the idea. CD+G was kind of a novel thing that didn't last very long, but now you have access to it if you get a good library of files. Archive.org is the library of the internet. All right, let's talk about something else. What haven't I covered? Oh, input options. Kitrinx, for those who don't have a Jaguar controller like I do, I know not a lot of people don't, she put in an option called numbstick. And if you have like a dual stick controller and you turn that on, when you move the left numbstick, it'll give you on-screen keypad, and if you hover over a number, it'll select that number, and I think the right pad does something similar. Maybe the numbers are split across them. I can't really show it to you because I don't have one of those plugged in. I'm using a Jaguar controller, but that's how you turn it on and off. Oh, I know what I can show you still. Let me get that off the screen here, and you can see kind of cool graphics there. All right. This thing, another feature that was added under the advanced options, which I already have it turned on, is homebrew support. And that basically emulates the Jaguar game drive. So that homebrew that was looking for the game drive sort of is copy protection, or you know, they want it to play on physical hardware and not an emulation. We can still play that stuff. So let me load some homebrew to show you, and I've got some under other. Today, Mortal Kombat, a fan version of the game that being done by somebody on Patreon named True Fun Games. He's been working on this for a while. He just released beta version 2 today, so I'll show you that.
Excellent.
And I'm terrible at fighting games, so I'm not even going to try. But he has something called soak test, which allows the computer to play the computer, or CPU versus CPU, so I'll get into that. And this version added credits, and if I were to show you the credits, you can find my name there because I'm a Patreon supporter. But I'm just, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. But luckily, once it starts, you can just hit a button to get back to the main menu. Under options, there's goodies, and there's the soak test. Oh, they do have one button fatalities feature you can turn on, and it also has an option where you can pause the game and see a listing of what the button presses are for the various fatalities and stuff. Okay, let me do that again because I sat there too long to select anything. Again, this will go through all the characters through the entire tournament, CPU versus CPU, and so if you want to see that, you can. I'm certainly not going to show you the whole thing, just a little 2 matches, or 2 rounds, I should say. If there's any sound glitches or weird stuff with the video or anything, that's my capture computer's fault. The Atari Jaguar core is very solid, so I haven't really experienced any issues with that. But recording stuff, yes, on my pretty bad laptop. I should shut up and just let the game sound go.
Sonia wins.
And then it would progress to the next match. Oh, they're doing a third round because I guess they got one each. There you go, you have
Sonia
some fatality.
wins. Fatality.
Alright. Show you some of the aftermarket games.
Johnny Cage.
I am a subscriber to Reboot Games, and I have bought some of their commercial games as well. Here's Jumping at Shadows, which is a digital copy, costs $25. A very high quality game. I highly recommend it. But if you subscribe to their Patreon at a certain tier, you get access to a lot of free games. And if you stay subscribed throughout the year, they do periodically post new games, and you get them just, because you're still a subscriber. You don't want to unsubscribe and then have to resubscribe. Support the developer community if you can. This is a really good game. It does a lot with lighting, so this first level will switch into like a dark red lighting mode. I don't know if, there we go. I'm not going to talk to the guys. There we go. Which button is it that shoots? Okay, it's C. Because eventually I'll need to shoot that guy at the top there. Oh, I got too close to him. I should have shot him a couple more times. Anyway, you get the idea. It's a really good game. I'll show you one or two more of their games. Rebooted, if I remember correctly, is a modern take on Asteroids, kind of like Asteroids 2000. Oh no, this is sort of a collection of games. I'm not going to get into those. Let me find the one I was looking for. Oh, Rebooteroids, that's it. My bad. This is the Caravan version. That means it's got like a 3-minute timer on it. You're trying to compete to see who can get the highest score. They have Caravan versions of most of their games as well. But you get to see what the gameplay is like.
Get ready.
Oh, that's
Twin shot UFO
okay, I
detected.
got twin shot. Twin shot power up. They've got different power ups.
Wave
And
complete.
of course, it starts off pretty simple, but you get the idea. And I'll show you one more of their games, which is Downfall. It's a very simple to pick up game. You just jump down the platforms, because if you touch the top of the screen, you die, or if you miss a platform and fall to the bottom, you die.
Reboot presents.
This is a free game you can get.
I do have a very particular set of skills.
I should have waited till I saw where I could jump.
Downfall.
And they've got a couple of different versions of most of these.
I do have a very particular set of skills.
And you've got some
Yum,
power
yum,
ups.
yums.
I was lucky.
Yummy, yum, yum.
And if you get far enough, the platform design changes. But I probably won't get that far.
Super sweet.
And I'm dead. Anyway, I would love to see Songbird release digital versions of their games, but so far they haven't done so. Reboot Games even sells through Zapparoo games on NFC cards. or they'll launch them and download them even. All right, now to show you one last thing, and that would be Atari ST ported games. Most of these ST conversions work, I think. I haven't tried all of them, but most of the ones I've tried work just fine. Of course, the Atari ST games aren't as fancy. Ports aren't as fancy as Jaguar native games. And the music's not always as good as the Jaguar stuff would be. There's a power up. Double shots. Anyway, you get the idea. What else? I think I've shown you most of it. Game saves work with the memory track cartridge. Kitrinx did the BIOS for that. Is there a pause on this game? It doesn't pause the music. But I'll turn down the volume so you can hear me a little better. Kitrinx has a replacement BIOS for the mem track. The original mem track, which is a cartridge you plugged into the Jaguar CD, it allowed you to save CD game saves. Well, it had absolutely no features. You could delete your game saves, and that was about the only feature it had, or pick a game save, and that was about it. So she put a lot of effort into expanding that. Now you can rename your game saves and have multiple game saves per game, which I don't think was possible in very many games previous to that. She's got it where you can copy game save to a new name. You can also, there's a binary editor, and you can edit game saves on screen. So anyway, she's put in a lot of work, and it's really nice. Another thing I should mention about the Jaguar CD BIOS that she did, she modified that. Jeff Minter put in, he was trying to put in, he had a deadline, the last week of his deadline for the Virtual Light Machine software. He wanted to make it where you could edit the various visual effects and then save your changes, but he didn't quite get it completed before the deadline. Well, Kitrinx went in there and she finished that feature, and I haven't figured out how to do it yet. The editing part is really the complicated. There's so many different settings, but take my word for it. Yes, you can edit sound effects, visual effects, and make modifications to them, and then save them and build your own effects if you want to do that. And I imagine eventually, once people get into this and learn how to do it, maybe you will get some tutorial videos or something at some point, and that will be nice. But anyway, I'm loving this core. Been using it for a while. I'm a hardcore Jaguar fan. I know there's not all the games are very good, but we do have, I'd say, about 10 to 20 pretty solid games and about 5 really good games. Oh, let me show you. Let me go back out here. Let's load Rayman. That is a unique Jaguar game, and I'll show you one more game after that. Let's see. Rayman. I think I have a save game on here too. I didn't get very far. I'm not really good at platformers. I mostly have a shooters kind of guy. Tempest 2000 is really my game, and Aliens vs. Predator. Oh, let's turn the volume up so you can hear it. All right. Oh, I guess I don't have a save game. I think I did on the single RAM version on a different MiSTer that I have. This is boring watching me move letters around, sorry. There we go. And again, watching the very first level of Rayman is not exciting, but just to give you an idea of the performance. You can't really tell the difference between this and a real Jaguar. I'll just try to speed run it. Oops, I could jump correctly. Up a little higher. There we go. Extra life. But I don't have a higher save game so you can see how well it plays later in the game. Look, there's a power up there if I can only get to it. Checkpoint, and I could go to some of the extra levels in here, but I'm just gonna get through this one. There's a guy over there I could save if I had the punch power, but I don't have that yet. You get that in the next level, and I left a ball there. Here's where she gives you the power up. Well, that's enough for right now. To show you Battlesphere Gold. Very complex game, multiplayer. This core does support JagLink, but you need a Jaguar Link snack adapter. Or you can use a Game Boy link cable for only 2 Jaguars together. Battlemorph supports up to 16 players, so. But this is a very complex game, not really geared to single player use. I mean, you can certainly play it. There's 4 or 5 different modes, but I'm just going to get into the game real briefly so I can show you. Ooh, well, I can bring up the manual. There's a demo mode, there's a training mode. I think this is one of the most advanced, best graphics game ever made for the Jaguar that almost no one knows about, because it was very few production. The production run of the cartridges, they didn't make very many and they cost a lot of money. So this is one of the extremely rare Jaguar games that probably cost several $100s, if not more, to get. But my point being, now we have access to it. And we can go to our help here. And this is a game, not a CD manual, so we're going to go to Jaguar manuals. And there's Battlesphere Gold, and we can bring up the manual and read through how to play the game and what the controls are and all that stuff. Got the addendum as well. All right, so hopefully you learned a little bit about the Jaguar core. Something else you can also get into the help is about the core. Oops, there's about. Again, this was built on May 17th. Thanks for watching.